Thank you to the CFA Society for having us. We are University of Minnesota, Twin Cities T2. We are here to initiate a buy recommendation of Sun Country with a 12-month target price of $24, representing about 3% upside. Our investment is backed by three theses: cargo segment growth, new administration benefit, and Sun Country as a potential acquisition target.
Thank you, Sahil. Based in Minneapolis, Sun Country Airlines has a newly diversified business model, including three segments: scheduled services, charter services, and cargo businesses. Sun Country Airlines operate around 120 routes, including 98% flexibility, utilizing a standardized fleet. Sun Country Airlines charter services, including a diverse client base with 80% of flights secured through long-term contracts. And the cargo segment improves the revenue margin through an asset model with a exclusive partnership through Amazon. Global passenger volumes have revived back to pre-COVID-19 level, and additionally, ultra low-cost carriers continue to gain their market share, and signaling a structural shift into a customer preferences to more low-budget travel options, driven by rising price sensitivity. Onto the expense side, jet fuel prices have declined to $2.5 per gallon by the end of 2024. After a sharp spike during the pandemic, prices are now forecasted to further stabilize. And meanwhile, interest rates, after a surge due to the inflation, it has now forecasted to be in the 4% range. And these economic industry conditions are supporting airline growth by lowering fuel expenses and borrowing costs.
Thank you, On. Let's now dive into a quick industry overview. So we chose to analyze the airline industry using the 4 to 5 forces analysis model. Our findings suggest that Sun Country benefits as an incumbent in the industry. We don't see a lot of threat from new engines because entry costs are high and there are limited resources. Looking at industry rivalry, there is a lot of internal competition in the airline industry. However, we've seen recent trend where the airline industry or consumer preferences are shifting towards low-cost carriers. We believe Sun Country benefits from that. Looking at threat substitutes, we again think airlines don't have to worry about this so much because they really outshine all of the other transportation in terms of both speed and convenience. Looking at the power of customers, Sun Country has, in the last few years, constantly been gaining market share in the Minneapolis airport hub against Delta, which again reflects a preference for consumers towards cheaper airlines. And Sun Country mitigates their supply power so their standards keep growing.
Thank you, Drew. Let's dive quick into the financial performance. Sun Country outperforms its peers in profitability with superior gross and profit margins, which is historically have been higher on industry averages. A key financial strength, a key driver in its financial strength is its exceptional load factor, which is highest among the low-cost carriers, enabled by high volatile route network and which boosts utilization. Airlines' total revenue per available seat mile remains strong, while cost per available seat mile remains competitive. This all ties back to Sun Country's unique strategic revenue diversification. Beyond profitability, financial stability is a crucial differentiator. Unlike many of its peers, Sun Country has lowest leverage ratio and the highest debt coverage ratio in this category. By getting less debt and maintaining strong cash flow coverage, Sun Country positions itself as the most resilient low-cost carriers. Sun Country ranks among the top in return on invested capital, demonstrating its ability to generate strong, sustainable returns. All these financial strength concludes why Sun Country is a high-quality investment opportunity. Now let's dive quick into the investment thesis. Our first catalyst is cargo segment growth. Market is currently evaluating Sun Country's recent partnership with Amazon. Recently, Amazon transferred 8 additional aircrafts from Atlas Air to Sun Country, further solidifying its collaboration. This strategic drive is set to gain the revenue growth and the margin expansion. Investors are assessing Sun Country's cargo business through a traditional lens of cargo carriers, some of which have scaled back due to declining profitability. While this is historically a challenge for Sun Country, its future tells a different story. Unlike many of the peers who faces high fuel and operational costs, Sun Country benefits from Amazon covering major expenses. This structural advantage is a key driver on why there is a surge in cargo operating profit through 2029. In conclusion, Sun Country's expanding cargo segment is a reason why it's a perfect investment opportunity.
Thank you, Valerie. We now dive into our second major hypothesis. And our second major hypothesis is around the benefits from the Trump administration. The biggest benefit that we see from the Trump administration is to lower fuel prices. President Trump recently signed an executive order which rescinded a previous President Biden memorandum. The Biden memorandum basically banned oil and gas leaving from the US Arctic coast. We believe the rescission of this memorandum increases the oil supply and therefore reaction on fuel prices. This helps fuel prices stabilize and is good for the airline economy. Our second major benefit is deregulation under President Trump. President Trump also signed a new executive order recently which freezes regulatory policies that were in the pipeline. These policies increase regulation around compensation for dealers, increase regulation for around baby seats and seats for older people as well. Essentially, we believe that smaller carriers are disproportionately impacted by higher regulation, and so some countries should benefit from a deregulated environment. Finally, this administration has repeatedly stressed its take on corporate tax cuts, which we believe will increase some countries' cash flows. And we also expect this administration to be more M&A friendly, which is great because it leads us into our final hypothesis, which is some country as a potential acquisition target. As you can see from the load factor graph for the industry, the airline industry has gone through major overcapacity issues during the COVID era. These overcapacity issues led to loss of cash flow and higher debt for many airlines. In a financial environment like that, we usually see industry consolidation for the airline industry. However, when we look at Sun Country as a company, we see great cash flows, good margins, and a company that is deleveraged relative to its peers. All these factors come together to make an attractive acquisition target. However, when talking about acquisition targets, one of the main questions that comes up is who will acquire? From our research, we found that Southwest is currently in the market looking to acquire somebody. We also are in an era where private equity dry powder is the highest ever been, and we've already seen two major private equity acquisitions in the last 3 years in the form of Axis and ADSG. We've also repeatedly stressed the special relationship that Amazon and Sun Country already have. We believe either of these three avenues could lead to a potential acquisition of Sun Country. Finally, as you can see from the quote on the board, Sun Country's executive board is also pro-M&A and open to being acquired.
Sun Country faces environmental scrutiny due to its older flights and must improve its sustainability initiative in order to meet the IATA's 2050 carbon emission goal. Sun Countries is partners with local Minnesota organizations in order to Minnesota organizations, and we think that Sun Country should also partner with out-of-state organizations in the future. Sun Country compensation aligns with shareholders' interest, and Sun Country's executive earn higher ROIC per compensation units, and we consider that after doing our analysis, we consider that they have well-defined metrics.
Valuation is supported by a graded valuation approach incorporating peer-graded multiples, present transaction and DCF analysis. We have equally weighted our DCF and relative valuation with 50-50 and further disintegrating our weightage into 30 to 20 for our peer trading and considered transaction, getting an implied target price of $24 per share. Our revenue build and operation build gives us a variety range of pressure point that can impact our DCF share scenario analysis ranging from $14 to $42 price range. We are calculating a terminal value using a perpetuity method and a WACC of 11%. We are aware of the risk that is surrounding Sun Country as an airline, and the biggest risk we are seeing is being a lower leisure demand.
Thank you. We now open the room to any questions.
What do you think of their capital structure?
Just to be sure, can you further explain historically or moving forward?
Moving forward.
So the management has said there are no plans in major capital expenditure, and for our valuation purposes, we are using a flat 75 billion as a capital expenditure with a range of 75 to 80 depending on our base or bull cases. And that's why we are, as per management, they are not getting any additional planes. The next 2 years are going to be all cargo focused, and the next couple of 3 years until down the line to 2029, they will be focusing on getting their already being, so they are getting the 6 more fleet from what they were leasing before. So those planes are getting back into the house, and they will be focusing on getting them into services before acquiring or before making any further capital expenditure plans.
To add to Sahil's point, a lot of the cargo planes are coming from Amazon already, so we don't think there will be a lot of capex from that. Moreover, we tentatively put in a tight payment schedule in our valuation model, but sometimes we the costing them to have to do cash flow, so if they need to take on more debt or even pay down the contract.
Can you go back to the valuation slide, and then lastly, I just want to look at that while, can you tell me what the people who are short sellers or bears are thinking?
I think the biggest thing that short sellers are thinking is that they're probably comparing the fact that Sun Country is diversifying into cargo, but they're comparing the cargo to other cargo companies, and as you highlighted here, Sun Country is in a very unique position where their cargo margins are actually going to be positive, which is not true for many cargo suppliers. Like UPS is currently dropping Amazon because it's saying that its cargo, the Amazon cargo is not profitable to them. However, because of that, Sun Country has been able to negotiate terms that give it a very profitable cargo structure. A lot of their expenses are passed through. This includes fuel expenses for any major maintenance on the plane, and expenses to buy the plane as well.
Also, in addition to Drew's answer, we also feel that the investors may be focusing, like Sun Country is going to convert directly into the cargo business, which is not true. While they are heavily focusing on cargo, they're still building up their passenger and stay in the area.
On this subject, what do you think is more valuable from a multiple perspective, the cargo business or the passenger business?
We think majorly Sun Country is obviously still a passenger airline. That should represent the majority of the revenue segment. However, looking at the cargo business, it's robust, it has great margins, and people cost it as well. So we do believe in the future, if this partnership with Amazon is not from which we believe it is, then cargo revenue segment could be a greater factor in the company than the passenger one. But currently, we still think passenger is more important than cargo.
Given that Amazon has had a lot of partnerships with carriers for freight, and none of them have turned out to be long-term, why is this one long-term?
Atlas are currently pulled out because it is planning to go international in partnership with Chain and Winnie, whereas UPS just dropped Amazon because they were not profiting, so they tend to scale back. While Sun Country has been the longest Amazon partner, and all of their all of their Boeing 737 are with Sun Country right now, making this promising.
And Sun Country also has, as you mentioned, a specialized fleet. So they only fly Boeing 737 and they specialize in that. And so Amazon has a fleet of Boeing 737s, but all their international ones are in India or China. They only have 20 left in America, and at this all of those 20 will be with Sun Country. So for all of their Boeing 737 flights, Amazon should be trusting Sun Country to use them as straight flights.
My last question is, all those things you pointed out appear to be relatively visible in terms of the information out there, and guidance and forecasting. So the market's pretty smart. Why, in your opinion, is it leaving 43% on the table right now over 12 months?
I think the biggest difference between our valuation and what the market is thinking when valuating Sun Country is we are seeing Sun Country as a potential acquisition target. That's where the premium is coming from. And towards.
Yeah, so that on the market, we did a present transaction analysis that has acquisition premiums built into it, so that's definitely putting our value higher than what other industry analysts would put that. And again, I think we keep coming back to cargo, but also to be very bullish on what the Trump administration will bring. We believe the price will go down, we believe the regulation is good for them, and we also believe that the tax cuts are going to happen. And I think the market is not willing to factor that in just yet. I think we'll factor those things in when they pass through.
So on that last point of deregulation, where do you think it ends up materializing as a benefit in the P&L? And then, are there risks to deregulating airline travel?
There are definite risks to deregulating airline and stuff like that. But the kind of deregulation that we're talking about is smaller stuff that right now hasn't been a security concern so far. So seats, specific seats for babies that or specific seats for older people. Airlines have so far been fine in that regard, so we don't see a deregulation or a lack of regulation in that regard in very concerning. Talking about the P&L point, we see deregulation. So for a company like some countries which have three major segments, they're very agile and they're very adaptable. So they share their resources across these three segments. If there's more regulation in one, it's very hard to transfer the resources around. And so for some countries more specifically, if there is deregulation, it just makes them more agile, it makes them more lean, and it allows them to switch resources quicker, which reduces costs and increases margins.
I like your comment about the administration promoting more E&P. So that's going to help reduce the fuel costs. But did you guys factor into your ESG analysis scores?
We did not factor that into our ESG analysis. What we did was we just performed the overall ESG analysis with each year, but we did not. I can definitely get back to you with that answer.
No, I'm just thinking that yeah, both sides, right? Yes. Yeah.
So your second investment thesis on the administration changes, one of the key components of that was lowering fuel costs as a catalyst. However, help me explain how that benefits Sun Country over some of the other ultra low cost carriers or other peers. Why would it make me want to buy Sun Country over maybe other airlines?
I think the biggest point for us is, well, I think with the whole Trump administration benefits argument, it benefits the entire industry for sure. I think we like it for Sun Country because it's already profitable, it already has good margins. And for the biggest segment, which is the passenger segment, this would boost their margins again. This would make it easier for them to fly more routes, to expand. And especially compared to the other ULCCs, because Sun Country is one of the only airlines that has positive cash flows. They're the only ones that can actually invest to expand. If you compare them to Spirit or Frontier, these guys are not making positive margins, they're very staying alive. So they can't really take good advantage of these potential benefits compared to a company like Sun Country, which has good cash flows, great margins, and is ready to use that cash to expand and grow.
Also adding to his point, so compared to the peers, Sun Country has 10 consecutive profitable quarters. Unlike Spirit has gone bankrupt, Frontier is not making that much profit right now. JetBlue is also going down. They are restructuring, and so that's why.
Sun Country has now been a public company for almost 4 years. Just wondering why you think a takeout is more likely now or imminent than it has been in the past, or even why it wasn't bought to private equity.
Well, till 2024, cargo business hasn't been that much profitable. Before, if you look at the margins in 2021 and 2022, they were just only profitable because of the COVID relief they were getting. And last year, they only generated an operating profit of 1 million. But moving forward, we are seeing a huge profit coming from those margins due to not as much as scale comparison to the revenue. We are not increasing. We are not seeing this much. Thank you.